The short film I made is called The Unknown and tells the story of a young girl and her family who move into a new house which is haunted by a girl who previously lived there. I used the horror genre and gained inspiration through other horror and independent films. I used and developed the typical codes and conventions of the horror genre and challenged them to make them something new and intriguing for my target audience. I presented my film through various selected elements which I had done research into, such as 1. Editing, 2. Cinematography, 3. Sound, 4. Mise en scène. Here are 2 examples from my work where I used, developed and challenged the main forms and conventions of pre-existing independent horror films. Example 1. Mise en scène. I developed and challenged conventions for the unknown by using typical conventions from the horror genre. I used references from films such as The Conjuring to gain inspiration for the mise en scène in my film. For example, a common convention of a horror film is a haunted house. We challenged this convention by having a new modern house which didn't look scary and added darker filters as we got into the film to make the audiences feel anxious and create suspense. We did this by editing the filters on Final Cut Pro and changed the colour to gradually make the house darker. This created suspense for our audience as well as challenging conventions of the horror genre. Example 2. Sound. I align the unknown with the horror by using the stereotypical conventions of building suspense throughout our film. We use sound design from a range of different soundtracks on YouTube to gain inspiration. In the soundtrack we chose from an independent horror, the sound, such as banging of footsteps, create anxiety and make the audience feel on edge. We challenged this by using Final Cut Pro and GarageBand to mirror this in our own film. We reversed the sounds of the music and changed the pitch. In our end scene we feature the soundtrack of a little girl singing. We changed this to make it louder and more high-pitched, building audience anxiety and a climax at the end of our film.